What's up, everybody? The Boxing Source checking in. This is the immediate reaction to Jack Catterall getting a unanimous decision victory over Josh Taylor as he receives two scores of 117 to 111 and one score of 116 to 113 to get the victory there over 12 rounds of action in a very good fight. It was a very good scrap between Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor. Much better or much cleaner, so to speak, than their first fight that happened a couple years ago. My thing was, the main story about it was Jack Catterall's jab. He was able to be very sharp with the jab early in the fight, and it really bothered Taylor, over the course of the fight. And Taylor really couldn't get himself completely back into the fight because of Catterall's jab. Yeah, there were a couple of head clashes that happened, within the first half of the fight, but nothing really significant that affected either one of the fighters. And, with Jack Catterall, he had the jab and he had the combinations early, particularly in the fourth round. He was putting a lot of punches together, had Josh Taylor in trouble in the fourth round. And, I thought that, there wasn't really much of an answer from Josh Taylor from the jabs that were coming from Jack Catterall there. So I thought it was going to be a, clean victory there for Jack Catterall. But you've seen Josh Taylor get back into the fight a little bit there after rounds 7 and 8. I thought it was mainly because of the lack of activity there from Jack Catterall. He wasn't really throwing the jab that much at that particular point. But Josh Taylor was able to, stay consistent with his attack, even though you kind of seen that he was predictable in his attack. He was crouching down before he was throwing any of those punches. So you had that, and then, he kind of like got back into it after the 8th and 9th round. At least for me, looking at it live, I had scored it like 5-2 in favor of Jack Catterall after 7 rounds. And then you had those close and very good action rounds there in rounds 8 and 9. So you kind of could have had a toss-up as to who won those particular rounds. Also, within round 10, you could have said, hey, maybe that was a pretty close round 2. But in the 11th round, you seen where you had Jack Catterall land a big left hand on Josh Taylor that really stunned Josh Taylor. And I thought at that particular point, he could have been able to score a knockdown or really have Josh Taylor in trouble. But, after, a little bit of an attack, he kind of smothered himself and got into a clinch that pretty much brought both fighters down to the canvas. And that ended up happening right before the end of that 11th round. And then, round 12, basically happened. It was more about the activity of Jack Catterall that kind of like put him over. So it was a good performance there by Jack Catterall to get a solid win over Josh Taylor this time. I know that, in the first fight, I pretty much said that Josh Taylor got cooked in that first fight. But here, you had a little bit more of an effort from Josh Taylor, but it was more the precision jabs coming from Jack Catterall that was major difference in the fight. And him having the majority of the rounds, 9-3 in 2 of those scorecards, and one scorecard had it like, 8-4, or, 1 tie round, so 7-4-1 basically, But, it was a clean win there by Jack Catterall, even though, I won't forget Bob Arum saying, those judges, the British judges, that was ridiculous. I am not bringing another American fighter here to the UK with these British boxing judges out. Whatever it was, that was just absolutely hilarious. That was some hilarious stuff, though. I don't know why Eddie Hearn gave Bob Arum the mic. That would have been, nah, man, I would have been falling over laughing listening to that live beat in the ring. But, I mean, you got a solid win there from Jack Catterall. We'll go into it a little bit more on the Boxing Source podcast, scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday night, here on the channel. So y'all tune in. Till then, that's it for me. I'm out.